Through this presentation, we'll take a look at 1804. We won't break down the state language on this, but we will talk about 1804 and how this ordinance right here, it folds into 1804 at the state level and how the differences between the two. I did spend some time with Mr. Blair. I spent some time with some folks in the mayor's office. I also spent some time with Sheriff Ragalotto last Friday and asked him a little bit about 287 and how that impacted him, how it impacted our community before a change of administration and how it impacted now. I might just start there, and then we will go into this PowerPoint presentation. We'll go through a few decks on this. I spent some time with Sheriff Ragalotto on question 287G that's on the books, and this is legally detaining illegal immigrants in the city of Tulsa jails. I framed it as how it pertains to detaining illegal immigrants in city of Tulsa jails. And there was a change of policy between the Trump administration and the Biden administration. Prior to, in the Trump administration, Tulsa County had an agreement with ICE about retaining illegal immigrants, and they kept them, retained them. There was a hold on them, and ICE would pick them up, and there would be somewhere in the range of 60 to 70 ICE detainees a month.
Are you referring to, just to clarify, is that the 287G program, or is that under a different?
I believe it is 287. I may be mistaken.
I just wanted to make sure I was thinking of the same program. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's 287. So approximately 60 to 70 detainees were detained a month, and they were turned over to ICE. And then with the new administration, there was immediate bonding out of the detainees, and then the request to detain them was sent up to Washington, D.C., and that was it takes about 3 days to get a response back from D.C. on that. And when that happens, is that those folks are released out on the street, and they're asked to return back for detention. And Sheriff mentioned to me that no detainees return. So we're de facto releasing into the community somewhere in the range of 60 to 70 illegal immigrants back into the community. So I thought that was very, very interesting. So I will go ahead and jump in right here on this page, and we'll go through here. And one of the things that I think that we heard from some of the counselors is that, number one, is that the ordinance is unconstitutional, and that kind of that fact check is false. Safe City includes specific language except where required by federal constitution, utility, police, fire, IMSA. They won't be denied to anyone under the Equal Protection Clause. Tulsa is not obligated or required by federal law, state law, to provide housing or social services to illegal immigrants or asylum seekers. Asylum seekers are not asylees. Unlike asylees who have been granted asylum seekers are not eligible for state or federal benefits. The Safe City won't jeopardize federal funding, including HUD, which is prohibited from providing financial assistance to unlawful residents. A continuation as far as being unenforceable, fact check. HB 1804 has been in state law since 2007, and it is a felony for municipalities to provide benefits, including shelter to illegal immigrants. Safe City language limits the scope of existing state law. What we mean by that is that the Safe City ordinance is not expanding off 1804, but it's in the same same framework. And what we're doing here is that point number 3 is that we're establishing requirements enforcing compliance relating to city grants and expenditures. We're localizing this. I might mention, I've got the numbers right here going back to 1804 is its passage. And this was signed off on, I believe, Brad Henry, the governor. 35 out of 44 Democrats in the House said yes, and 16 out of 24 Democrats in the Senate said yes on that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So this was not a partisan bill. This was bipartisan, and it was in fact signed by a Democratic governor, Brad Henry. If you'll let me finish, and then we'll open up for Q&A. Safe City harms legal immigrants in Tulsa. Fact check, false. We're responsible for facts and not misperceptions. And counselors, we do have a duty to be truth tellers and not encourage unfounded fears or stigmas on this. Safe City does not in any way target or harms Tulsa's legal immigrant community. Rather, it really does ensure city services, shelters, and programs remain available to them and every other Tulsan. This is not controversial. I should be able to pull up a Pew survey from January of this year. In whatever strata that you're in, as far as socioeconomic strata, also as your ethnicity and or political party, 80% of Americans are broadly dissatisfied with the government's handling of the border and the migrant situation, irregardless of party. And you'll see that we should be able to bring that up afterwards. I do want to mention my mayoral bid and kind of a quick fact check on this. This is really about affecting hundreds of municipalities across the country. And I really wanted to lay this ordinance down really to engage and organize with others as well as gain feedback from the residents of Tulsa. And, you know, using my campaign site, is that was the only site available. You can only have one site available at one time, and that's under State Ethics Rule 2.69. One committee at a time means mayoral. My committee is the only one available, paid for disclaimer. And point number 4 is never once in the Safe City communication is that I'm running for mayor. It was never mentioned. And, you know, I did want to kind of diffuse that gossip right in through there. We do really need a proactive plan. Our duty as counselors, and we are fiduciaries, is to be stewards of city resources and take proactive steps when necessary to mitigate an impending crisis, like the illegal immigrant crisis that's affecting other cities. We deserve proactive leadership. I think this is really important, this last sentence right here, is that, you know what, we don't want to wait until the dam is broken to create flood precautions. Counselors, this is just really simply common sense. Kind of the bullet points and kind of a winding down there. So if we're not unwilling to support the spirit of the ordinance, which is plainly simply establishes protections to shield from a credible crisis, then I think at some point in time we need to discuss questions for appropriate city planning. Are we prepared to set population limits in place for migrants, whether undocumented or asylum seeking? If no limit, do we believe our constituents support this? Is some limit? We need to specify a number and why. What if arrivals exceed that limit? What action should we take? What specific city funds or services and or departments need to be diverted from Tulsa in order to achieve this. And it's really interesting is that I kind of follow the news threads and such, is that the city of Denver since last Wednesday, is that they're now cutting services, and they're also starting to furlough employees also. And I think that, we'll see more of that in cities impacted.